And we're very delighted to have with us in the studio the very wonderful and world-renowned conductor, Nvart Andreassian. Nvart, welcome to our program.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, it's good to have you here. And you are joining us from where?
I'm joining you from Yerevan, Armenia, very
Wonderful.
far from you.
Well, very far from Boston. Yes, up in Boston.
Yeah.
Um, Now, you are a judge, and you've been a judge for 2 years at the galas and for Sound Espressivo. I want to talk a little bit about that, but first, I need to ask you a little bit about your career. What are you doing now in your conducting career?
Wow. Now I'm waiting for some the concert dates, and at the same time I'm teaching. I'm leading conducting master classes here in Yerevan, which are videotaped, and I give conferences about contemporary Armenian music sources, which is very, very, very big subject, very huge
Right.
subject, and contemporary music, performing art, master classes. I don't know.
And
I'm
you've
not stopping. Yeah.
you've conducted all over the world. You've been in China and Turkey and Moscow and just about every place in Europe. Tell us a little bit about your years in China, because you were with the Tianjin Symphony for 5 years,
Well, I have been invited on 1998
right?
for one concert. So I traveled there from France because I was working in France at that time. And the orchestra asked me during the first break of the first rehearsal to stay and work with them. I said, okay.
One, well,
So it was really, really big challenge and adventure, because traveling and making music is an adventure.
well, I can't think of anything that must be more pleasing and gratifying to do a rehearsal. There's a break, and then suddenly you're invited to conduct the orchestra. That must have been very rewarding for you.
Yeah, it was something that I didn't wait. So I just went there for one concert. I said, okay, I stay because I love very much Chinese musicians. They are very different from Europe, very, very different, of course. They asked me to teach them my vision of Chinese music
Hmm.
interpretation.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was astonished.
Yeah.
And to bring them French music, French music.
Right.
So the next wish of the orchestra, the full orchestra, was to play finally Berlioz' Fantastic Symphony,
Hmm.
Messiaen, Chronochromie,
Hmm.
which is huge, difficult piece. It's awful. Not many orchestras, even very good orchestras, are playing that. It's very hard. But with the patience and wish, they could play. I cannot say that it was perfect. Nothing is perfect. Doesn't exist. So, yeah. But they did it, and I did it. So it is very important, because in a career of conductor, there is not only great, great orchestras, but there are orchestras. So the conductor should teach them uh, with patience, with love of music, with love persons, with love culture. Do it. It's a huge school of being a musician. Huge thing.
Well, it's rare for a conductor to so impress an orchestra that they fall in love with the conductor in 5 minutes. I've seen this only once in Tel Aviv when a young conductor was asked to come in to replace Zubin Mehta. Nobody ever heard of this kid. His name was Gustavo Dudamel. And within 5 minutes, they were in
It's
love with
possible.
Dudamel. But nobody ever heard of Dudamel at that point. And with you, they fell in love with you. So you have some very
It's
special
possible,
qualities.
yeah.
Very special qualities.
It's possible to do that. When you master the piece, when you master the conducting technique, because the piece needs sometimes very difficult conducting techniques, using conducting techniques. That's what I'm teaching now. And the love of the piece and love explain how to play patiently and work with them. And you see the orchestra transform. And it happens with me in Brazil with Orchestra Symphony Orchestra of Porto Alegre. It happens again, yeah, because I love what I'm doing. I love music and I love connecting persons, cultures. I'm not judging anything, anybody, any cultures. So I'm just there to play music and to pass them through music my love of life, which is very important, huh? And my energy. That's it.
Well,
It's so
let's.
simple.
Well, you talked about judging. Now, you are a judge for the Sound Espressivo, and you have such an experience working with so many different musicians, and I'm sure you've worked with younger musicians. When you're judging a performance that you see online for Sound Espressivo, what are you looking for? What qualities are you especially looking for when you hear a performance, whether it's a violinist, a pianist, a singer, an ensemble? What are you looking for as a judge?
You know, since 40 years, we are all looking for very, very good velocity, technique, everything. I'm not looking for that because any musician, any person with practice can have the velocity, but it is not to be musician. It is a part of to be musician. It's a part. The main part to be musician is, as French say, musical intelligence that nobody teach you. You have inside, it's natural, you have, and you work on it to give a shape to this with knowledge of music history, analyze, instrumental techniques, everything together. It is not just techniques and nothing else, empty notes and you just move and you just do gestures and oh yeah, of course. No. It's just a movie. It's a show. I'm not looking for that. I'm listening, not looking. I'm listening. How they are making the phrases, how they are telling us something about the piece, about what composer imagined for the piece, and they can add something more on the piece. And have I see images, colors, shapes when they play? All this together, I'm looking for that because, you know, to be a very good musician, it is not enough to have fingers velocity. It is just techniques, yeah. But all other things that makes the music.
When you are judging a performer and you see that they have, as you say, the velocity but no heart, and then you have a chance to comment and talk to
Yeah.
them, what sort of things do you tell them in a nice way? I'm sure you're very nice.
Well, I say first, very good techniques. You should say that because that's true. And then I try to say them things that they can understand by themselves that they need something more. The more, as I told to my students in Yerevan Conservatory for the conducting techniques, there is many things that no any teacher can teach you. It is energy inside of you as musician. It is your imagination, what images you see in your head, what colors you hear in your inner ear. Inner ear. We are now living in a period of our human culture that everything must be seen outside, and if you don't see anything, it doesn't exist. But inside of the person, inside of you, of any human, inside a life exists always and existed always. That we don't want to see it, it's another question. But the human is always the same human, always the same. Nothing changed. What is changed? It's our vision, our acceptance, our imaginations, dreams, our challenges. That's what changed. But in reality, the human being is not changed. So it is always the same. So if you have energy or not, I cannot teach it. It's impossible.
You remind me of something that Daniel Barenboim said when he got to know Dudamel. His comment was, Dudamel knows everything that you can't teach. And you've sort of said the same thing. There are some things you just can't teach. It's either there or it isn't. And so that's very wonderful.
But there is something. Yes, that's right. But for me, it is not enough to have these things inside of you to be a good musician, but there is studying all the time. Why? Because you can play the music that you write as you wish with your inner world. But when you play the music of another person, you must be very, very strong musician to understand and to go inside of that musician's mind, soul, anything you want. This is different. So it needs to work, study all the time. I saw to my students last week, I said, history of music is not enough to study harmony or theory, but history of music, history of humanity, civilizations, which gives you a force to imagine, to hear, to see, because any sound, which we name C or D or G or B, S, anything you want, is a color. The color, if you cannot hear the color or see the color as sound, there is something wrong, because even classical harmony, one after one, there are colors one after one. The method different, but you should hear these colors going through and making shapes and colors, and you make the music alive. Otherwise, the music is dead. It's just a technique, fingerings. That's it.
Let me ask you one final question before we go. If there are young musicians listening now and watching, what advice do you have to young aspiring musicians? What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's 15 or 16 who has some talent but want to go forward? What do you tell them?
I will not add anything else to what I said. And always I'm saying the same thing during judging. Technique is very good because they spend a lot of times to have the velocity, and because fingers must be very strong. Okay. But what else? So I will not say anything else that I already said, because I don't want to repeat myself. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, I think
It's so simple, huh?
yeah, I think the one thing that you did say was that you must study and understand the composer's milieu and where their world is and who they are. So that's a very good lesson right there. Well, Nvart Andreassian, thank you very much for your time. We look
Thank
forward
you.
to more judging from Sound Espressivo, and we wish you the best with your teaching and all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.